Years, 46 flights, and 4,399 veterans later, the Never Forgotten Honor Flight continues to provide a memorable, one-of-a-kind experience for veterans across the area.
And that's why, as we approach Veterans Day this year, we're taking this time to honor all those associated with the flight. News 9's Brad Hansen kicks us off by introducing us to the two men responsible for starting it all. He joins us in Mosinee with their story.
Well, it was right here at this bar 14 years ago that Central Wisconsin history was made. Jim Campbell and Mike Thompson met up for a fish fry and a beer. They came out of that meeting with the Never Forgotten Honor Flight. And since then, the work they did right here has helped touch the lives of thousands of veterans and their families across the area.
Jim and I sat down and we started scratching out some numbers. We need a board of directors, about 10, 12 of them. We need probably about, we want to take about 100 World War II veterans to D.C. Going to need about 50 guardians. Going to need about $80,000. Whoa!
That initial sticker shock might have been enough to keep most people away, but Thompson and Campbell kept pushing, determined to get their first flight off the ground just 5 months after they committed to it.
Jim and I were literally talking about mortgaging our house in order to pay the difference to get that airplane into Central Wisconsin.
They were able to drum up enough support to avoid that, and on April 27, 2010, the first Never Forgotten Honor Flight went wheels up to Washington, D.C. Since then, the fundraising has been a little easier.
If I told you how many annual fundraisers are being held for us, you wouldn't believe it. You know, you just wouldn't believe it.
And it hasn't been just the fundraising efforts that have changed. The effect this flight has changed too. Jim and Mike used to think it was just to get the vets out to see their memorials. What they've found is the sightseeing part of the trip is sometimes the least important.
They find there's a catharsis when you talk about things that are hurting, that are in your heart and soul for 5, 6, 7 decades. And you actually feel a little better. And then they go home. And for the first time, they start talking to their family.
Those stories.
It's an experience many say changes their lives for good. An experience that might not have happened without Jim and Mike. A lot has changed in the 14 years since the meeting here happened, but one thing has not, and that is Jim and Mike's commitment to make sure the veterans here in our area are well taken care of. In Mosinee, I'm Brad Hansen, News 9 WAOW.
Thank you, Brad. And we heard much more from Jim and Mike. If you'd like to catch their full interview, you can head to WAOW.com.
Now, the Never Forgotten Honor Flight wouldn't be nearly as successful if not for the many people who donate to it.
To date, over 50